Welcome, Excellency, Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, and all of you honored guests, VIPs, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, allow me to say a few words to welcome you and introduce the lecture. Over a decade ago, Prime Minister Gusmão delivered the RSIS Distinguished World Leaders Lecture. That was in June 2013. He talked about Timor-Leste's role and future in a rising Asia-Pacific region. Today, we are deeply honored to welcome Prime Minister Gusmão back to deliver another lecture. Hopefully, we will all be more enlightened after listening to his lecture in a few moments. Prime Minister Gusmão's leadership has been pivotal in Timor-Leste's independence story. He was a key figure in the country's independence movement. Following independence in 2002, Prime Minister Gusmão served as the country's first elected president. Currently serving his second term as Timor-Leste's Prime Minister, Prime Minister Gusmão has had an illustrious career, which include the landmark resolution of maritime boundaries with Australia and spearheading the strategic development plan for his country 2011 to 2030. He continues to strike a balance between stewarding domestic priorities in his country and steering Timor-Leste's role in regional and international forums. Ladies and gentlemen, the next decade will be pivotal for the Southeast Asian region as Timor-Leste joins Southeast Asia's regional body, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN in short. Timor-Leste's ASEAN membership marks a new chapter for both Timor-Leste and the region. Amidst an increasingly uncertain and fraught global environment, Timor-Leste's accession to ASEAN is timely. Joining hands across the region will be instrumental in overcoming the challenges and identifying new opportunities for cooperation. Singapore and Timor-Leste share an enduring friendship, and we are heartened to have partnered with Timor-Leste on this journey. Singapore remains committed to supporting Timor-Leste's upcoming accession to ASEAN. On that note, we look forward to welcoming Timor-Leste to the ASEAN family later this year. Today, we look forward now to listen to Your Excellency, Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, for sharing with us your views and thoughts on what is happening in our region and in your own country. It's my great honor to welcome you, Prime Minister. The stage is yours, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you all? Good? Oh, very good. His Excellency Minister, distinguished scholars, students, and friends, and ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Yes, it is a pleasure to return to Singapore and an honor to speak once again at the Rala Xanana School of International Studies. When I last stood here in 2013, I reflected on the motto of the RSIS, ponder the improbable. In my address, I pondered the improbable journey of the Timorese people from centuries of colonial rule through occupation and resistance to independence and development driven by peace. I also spoke of the improbable events shaping world affairs. One was the global financial crisis, unexpected and far-reaching. Its impact continues to erode public trust in financial and political institutions across the West and around the world. Another was the Arab Spring. Few people then could have imagined that a single act of defiance in a small Tunisian town would trigger a wave of upheaval across the region, echoes of which shape the story of the Middle East today. 12 years have passed, and today we face even greater change and challenges, both unexpected and transformative. We see war in the Middle East and Ukraine, internal conflicts in fragile states in Africa and around the world, the emergence of artificial intelligence, the collapse of international law, and trade policy being used as a tool of power. And yet, amid this great change, the forces that define our age, which I spoke of 12 years ago, continue to shape our world. Fragile states are more vulnerable than ever. Inequality is becoming more entrenched. Around the world, the harm we are doing to our climate, to our environment, and to our shared resources puts our very future at risk. Extreme poverty persists, exposing the depth of the international system's failure to help the developing world. These challenges are more tangled, more urgent, and more unforgiving than ever. That is why institutions like RSIS matter. I want to thank you for hosting me again. You continue to play an essential role in deepening understanding of our region's security, diplomacy, and development. In a time of global uncertainty, your mission is more vital than ever. Singapore itself offers a powerful example. As a small state in a complex region, it has navigated well in this divided world with clarity and skill, balancing relationship without compromising its interests and principles. Singapore also offers a unique example of national development, building a modern, high-income economy through strategic leadership, long-term vision, and a deep commitment to social cohesion. As a fellow small state, Timor-Leste is inspired by this example. We may not share all of Singapore's strengths, but we share its need to be resilient, to navigate change, and to speak with purpose in an unpredictable world. It is in that spirit that I speak to you today, not to recount our past, but to share how Timor-Leste sees the future of our region and how we can contribute to it. When I addressed the RSIS in 2013, Timor-Leste was still emerging from the long shadow of occupation and conflict. I remember visiting villages in the mountains during those years, speaking with families who had lost everything, yet still believed in the future we were trying to build. They wanted our struggle to mean something and to offer their children a life of dignity and hope. We were consolidating peace and building the foundations of a functioning state from the ground up, with weak institutions, limited human resources, and having gone through a complex process of reconciliation, both with Indonesia and within our own society. Since then, we have made great progress. We have strengthened our institutions of state, built infrastructure across our country, and developed state capacity to meet the needs of our people. We have secured peace and built a liberal democracy with an open economy, a free society, and a firm commitment to human rights and the rule of law. But we remain a young and developing country. Our challenges are real, and we face them in a global environment that is less stable, less fair, and less predictable. The certainties of the past have gone. The institutions of the post-war order are breaking down. Great power rivalry has returned to our region. Economic cooperation is no longer considered a path to peace, but a source of strategic risk. Nations speak of upholding a rules-based order, but it seems that international law only applies when it is in the interest of great powers. The best example of international law having no application is what we are witnessing in Gaza, where violations of humanitarian law have caused intolerable suffering for the Palestinian people. A multipolar world is emerging, just as multilateral institutions grow weaker. And we have a United Nations that is powerless to respond effectively to war, to climate change, and to the rising inequality. This is not a new world order, but a world of disorder. This is also the world our region must navigate and in which ASEAN now operates. In this world, ASEAN matters more than ever. For nearly 6 decades, ASEAN has helped transform a once divided region into one of the most stable and cooperative in the world. Its core principles: non-interference, consensus, peaceful dispute resolution, and mutual respect, have provided a foundation for trust among very different nations. It is not always easy, no. There are disagreements within ASEAN, as there are in any family. But those disagreements have been managed with restraint, dialogue, and a long-term commitment to shared peace and prosperity. Timor-Leste admires this achievement. ASEAN is not just an institution, it is a manifestation of regional cultural cooperation, one that has allowed countries with different histories, political systems, and levels of development to sit at the same table and work together. ASEAN has shown, as Timor-Leste learned the hard way, that there can be no development without peace, and no peace without development. In doing so, ASEAN has helped turn Southeast Asia from a theater of the Cold War into one of the world's most dynamic regions of growth and stability. Timor-Leste is part of Southeast Asia. Our journey to independence was shaped by international solidarity. While it took 24 years of occupation and great sacrifice by the Timorese people, the United Nations and international law came to play a critical role, and regional support mattered. In our transition to independence, we understood that to be a responsible and stable state, we had to be a good neighbor. That is why we appreciate so well the importance of not upsetting the security and strategic balance of our region. That is why our first priority was reconciliation with Indonesia. That is why multilateralism and regional cooperation are central to our foreign policy and to how we understand and exercise sovereignty. We applied for ASEAN membership with the strong encouragement of Indonesia. We were aware of the gap between our capacities and those of many ASEAN members in infrastructure, human resources, and economic strength. But we were also aware that we are part of Southeast Asia, and that in this uncertain world we could not stand alone. In ASEAN, we see a framework that upholds sovereignty, but one that also requires each of us to exercise it with care, with restraint, and with regard for our neighbors. We have deep respect for the principles of ASEAN as set out in the ASEAN Charter. These include respect for independence, sovereignty, and non-interference in internal affairs of ASEAN member states, a shared commitment and collective responsibility in enhancing regional peace, security, and prosperity, adherence to the rule of law, good governance, and the principles of democracy and constitutional government, respect for fundamental freedoms, and the promotion and protection of human rights, and the centrality of ASEAN. We see ASEAN as a community of nations committed to peace, mutual respect, and shared progress. We support the principles of non-interference. We understand, as well as any nation, the pain that comes from foreign interference and domination. And we also believe that a people-centered ASEAN must respect the dignity and rights of its citizens. These are not competing ASEAN values. They are complementary, and they matter even more in a world that is growing less stable. We now live in an increasingly multipolar world, shaped by many centers of power, each with its own history, interest, and view of the world. The diversity brings complexity, but also opportunity. It is an environment that the ASEAN family understands well, and one it can navigate with experience, with fresh thinking, careful diplomacy, and a renewed commitment to rules and cooperation. ASEAN can help navigate the challenges of a world growing more fractured, more contested, and more unsettling. But as recent international development unfolds, the challenge is growing more difficult. Too many powerful nations no longer even pretend to uphold international law, where once the conduct of global affairs was framed in the language of law, even that facade has now fallen away. The rhetoric of rules-based order is too often invoked to give the illusion of principle. Applied when convenient, ignored when it is not. That is not a system of law. It is a system of power. If we allow this to continue, international law will become nothing more than a history lesson taught in universities, a memory of how the world once tried to prevent violence with principles. This erosion of global norms is not just visible in war, it is also evident in peace. The global economy, once a driver of shared prosperity, now serves the interests of the few. For many countries, the promise of development remains out of reach. are now members of the G7+, which, since 2019, has observer status at the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, Timor-Leste seeks full ASEAN membership with a strong sense of responsibility and a deep sense of belonging. We see ourselves not as outsiders joining the club, but as Southeast Asians formally joining a regional family. We believe that the global challenges of fragile states, extreme poverty, widespread conflict, entrenched inequality, and environmental destruction make ASEAN more important than ever. ASEAN is one of the few regional groupings in the world that has managed to preserve both cohesion and independence. It has refused to become a proxy for any great power. It has chosen consensus over coercion, and it has prioritized diplomacy over division. This is not a small achievement, and it should not be taken for granted. In the face of destabilizing geopolitical shifts, ASEAN continues to prove its relevance for the future, both globally and to the people of our region. It presents a coherent voice of regional stability, independence and prosperity, with ASEAN centrality at its heart. Timor-Leste has studied the commitments, the obligations, and the institutions of ASEAN. We are aligning our national laws and policies to meet the requirements of membership. We are investing in our institutions and our people to ensure we can contribute meaningfully across all these ASEAN pillars: the political security community, the economic community, and the social cultural community. For us, membership of ASEAN is not a destination. It is not an end in itself. It is a framework for regional peace and prosperity that we want to contribute to and defend. We bring to ASEAN a strong commitment to cooperation, a common vision and purpose. We have a young population eager to learn and grow, and we offer opportunities in tourism, agriculture, in natural resources. We are also promoting our blue economy to support sustainable development and protect our marine biodiversity and environment. We seek not just investment, but also ideas, partnerships, and solidarity. Our country's strategic development plan sets out a long-term vision for inclusive growth, infrastructure development, and human capital investment. ASEAN can be central to that vision, and we believe that Timor-Leste, in turn, can add value to ASEAN. We all want a region that is peaceful, connected, and prosperous. And we believe this future lies in deeper cooperation and a greater inclusion, where no country in our region is left behind, and every voice has a place at the table. Regional integration will be essential to that vision and to building a stronger, more resilient community. one that draws strength from its diversity and remains united in the face of uncertainty. Timor-Leste looks forward to the ASEAN Summit in October. We welcome the strong support we have received from countries for our accession to ASEAN. Timor-Leste seeks to join ASEAN with a deep sense of responsibility and a great sense of optimism. We do so not to stand alone, but to stand with others, to work together, speak together, and grow together. Our hope is simple, that the next chapter of Southeast Asia's story will be written by all of us in common purpose and with a shared belief in peace, dignity, and the power of regional solidarity. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister Gusmão. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now head into the Q&A segment with Ambassador Ong as moderator. May I invite Ambassador Ong back on stage for the Q&A, please? Over to you, Ambassador Ong.
Thank you, Excellency, for a very important and what I consider to be educational speech for all of us here today. As a former Secretary General of ASEAN, I know how difficult it is for member states to work together to reach consensus and take a common stand on many of the issues facing all the states of Southeast Asia. So it is very reassuring to hear from you that Timor-Leste and the people of Timor-Leste are ready to commit and to work with the rest of us in Southeast Asia for our common good, peace and prosperity, as you have mentioned. So if you allow me, sir, I would like to open the floor to remarks or questions, comments from our respective members of the audience. And we will have to put you on the spot very often to answer some of these questions. If you don't like it, you just arrow back to me. I will try to answer.
If I cannot answer, I will give to you.
Yeah. I will not answer on behalf of Timor-Leste, but I'll answer on behalf of ASEAN. Yeah. Okay, maybe we be a bit more systematic. Yeah. Let's do it this way. We start from the left. Yeah. We take some questions from the left, and then we move to the right. Yeah. But please, one question at one time. Yeah, and be short. Don't give us a commentary. I think we have not much time, so we want to be able to take as many questions as we can. No, sir. No, sir. They will be having the mic. Yeah. Have a seat. Yeah. ASEAN has improved. We don't have to share one mic now. Okay. Yeah. Give us your name and where you come from, and one question at a time. Yeah, please.
Okay,
short and sharp.
Thank you. My name is Sun Xi. I'm from China. I'm a graduate of the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. So, welcome to Singapore, Your Excellency. Singapore, how to say, has been transformed from a third world city-state to the first world. My question to you is that I think Timor-Leste has the potential to do the same thing. But in your opinion, what's the number one obstacle of achieving this goal, and how will you overcome it? Thank you.
Number one obstacles.
Yeah, obstacles. Yeah, yeah.
Number one obstacle for Timor-Leste. Maybe we take one answer at a time also. So you like to say something, sir? Yeah, because otherwise we will have too many ideas coming to you. One
No
idea at
problem.
one time, one question at one time, and then we give one answer at one time.
Until everybody asks and everybody.
No, we will find the time. If there is no
Okay.
time, then we take 2 or 3 questions at one go.
Yeah, thank you. The first obstacle is human resources. Human resources in every area, every segment of the society, from political sectors to administrative sectors, even to the private sector. This is what we are trying to improve by improving the education, because one of our big problems is lack of quality in education. That's why if you have a good vision, you do something. If you don't have any vision, you do nothing. That's why in everything, if you don't have a vision, if you don't know what to do, you do nothing. That's why the first obstacle for Timor-Leste to better improve more rapidly is human resources capability.
Next question, sir. Yeah, microphone here. We go from left to right, yeah? So those of you on the right hand side, just wait for a while. Okay, one question. Where are you from?
Yeah, good afternoon. His Excellency for your insightful speech. Yeah, my name is William from Nanya International Club. I'm myself also an alumni of RSIS. So my question is, I thought ASEAN is a well-united family. Citizens within ASEAN, within this region, are free to travel to anywhere without requirement of a visa. Until recently, I realized that for Myanmar passport holders travel to Malaysia, they ask to present a visa. So my question is, how well or to what extent the Timor-Leste's integration into ASEAN in terms of human flow, goods flow, and the capital flow? Thank you.
Human flow, work flow, and tax flow. What is about Timor-Leste's integration into ASEAN? He's asking whether it's easy for people in ASEAN to interact with you, to visit you, to work with you.
Of course, we are trying to complete all the norms, all the, how to say, ties amongst Asian nations, and the mobility, everything we will say, responding the ASEAN principles, and it is our preparation to be full member of ASEAN.
So his specific question is, William, your specific question is, do you need a visa to go to Timor-Leste?
Pardon?
Or does anybody need a visa to travel to Timor-Leste from ASEAN country, and for Timor-Leste to travel to ASEAN?
Visa. Visa on arrival. Yeah. If you want to go tomorrow, bring your passport and I will.
So you can get your visa on arrival in Timor-Leste. And Timor-Leste citizen can also travel to ASEAN after membership of ASEAN.
Yes. It is, how to say, I don't. Eh? What? Yes, it is. It is amongst all ASEAN members.
Visa-free travel. Okay, William, you can go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
next question.
the other one.
You don't have to move so far away. Where are you seated?
Thank you, Ambassador Ong. Very good afternoon, Prime Minister Gusmão. I'm Edmund. I was from NTU. I served as a former school principal, and now I'm doing consulting with the Singapore Education Consulting Group. I agree with your point about the importance of human resource. In terms of education in Timor-Leste, what would you say would be the top 3 priorities for education in Timor-Leste? And we warmly welcome Timor-Leste to ASEAN, and we look forward to contributing also to the growth of Timor-Leste.
Thank you. 3 top
Priorities for education
priorities.
in Timor-Leste.
3 top priorities
3 top
for
priorities.
Timor-Leste education policy.
Of course, we are 1.3 million. More than 48% of our people are under 20. It means that when we talk about education, we have to start by the beginning until the university level. But what we are facing is, especially when we say in the universities we must have quality in teaching, it reveals that we need good teachers. It reveals that we need to form good teachers. That is why there are 3 aspects. 1, education for all, from the childhood. 2nd, to improve the quality of education even from the secondary school to universities. And the 3rd, trying to persuade the young generation to go to areas that are fundamental for the future of Timor-Leste, in engineering, and many other aspects, to improve, to push the economic growth in Timor-Leste. That is why we have also a fund for scholarship, but not to everybody, only if somebody is well selected, because we are also in the means not only to have a big, beautiful structure of the state. No. The structure, but good people there. And when I met in 2000 Lee Kuan Yew, he said, the importance in the administration is the quality, the mind and the character. If somebody cannot respond to the needs of the state, just put away. Because being something, working in something in the state institutions is not for money. It is a mission to serve the country. That is why many problems in this. We are a newborn country. 23 years, yes, 23 years. But we started from zero in 2002. No institutions, no system, nothing. That's why the real problem, like what I said in the first answer is this: human resources, education, human resources.
Okay, this side, this lady here. The microphone is coming.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Singapore. I'm Nomita from In Diplomacy. My question to you is that we recognize that the main need for the people of Timor-Leste is education training. Now that Timor-Leste is going to be part of ASEAN, do you have any plans to give special incentives for companies in education sector so that people from ASEAN, including Singapore, can go and set up their colleges, schools, training institutes there? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Are you teaching something? Are you teaching in some schools?
No, I'm a journalist.
I know. Oh, yes. You can tell your friends to go.
Will you maybe facilitate by putting in equity of the land or something from the government side so that, you know, the soft skills can come from these countries?
I don't understand.
Asking whether can people who want education can be given land to develop their
Schools?
schools. Government incentives. Any government incentives?
Yeah, we have scholarship. Through the scholarship funds, we send to Australia, to many countries, including Singapore, in areas that we see that it is important strategically for the future of Timor-Leste. But there are always opportunities to open a school there. We focus on the areas that we need to better the capability of the people because of the future. But, yes, in whatever people from the ASEAN countries, if they want to go and help us, please.
So there are incentives for companies wanting to invest in education in Timor-Leste. It's up to you to offer, Nomita. Yeah, when you get to Timor-Leste or meet the Timor-Leste officials, you can offer your incentives for them to welcome you to have facilities or business in training in Timor-Leste.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Yes,
there.
lady at the back, yeah. Is that Sarah?
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. Welcome to Singapore. I am Sarah from Regional Security Architecture Program, RSIS. So my question relates to Timor-Leste's long journey to ASEAN membership. So Timor-Leste first, applied for ASEAN membership in 2011, and now finally in October 2025, you will be formally granted membership status. So my question would be, in this 14-year journey, what is the main takeaway for Timor-Leste? Thank you.
Why it takes so long to join ASEAN? Isn't it? That's your question, right, Sarah? You are too diplomatic. Okay. So why it takes so long for Timor-Leste to join ASEAN? And what else can we learn from this experience?
Can you put another question before this one? Another question will be, why it was so long to get your independence after 24 years fighting? Well, you were independent in 65. 10 years later, we got independence from Portugal, but days later, we were invaded. The problem is not to get today. The problem is a vision if we can go there. That is why, without any help from anybody from outside, in terms of weapons, in terms of ammunition, etc., our people wait 24 years. 24 years. That is why, willing to be member of ASEAN, it is a good willing, but you have to prepare yourselves. We were talking about human resources. Even internally, we have problems. Economically, we have problems. We cannot just willing to be member and they will get the membership tomorrow. It was not easy also. You have to afford to the roadmap that the Asian countries give to you. You should do this, should do this, should do this, including the problem of visa. Including the problem of visa. You should. If not, you are not member. Many things. Many things. That is why it was not easy, but at least we can be, well, happy for months later. You can call us, hey, Asiatic.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Yes. Yeah. Hold on, huh? The lady in the mask, yeah.
Thank you. Welcome to Singapore. First of all, my name is Haja. I'm a student from Malaysia. My question is in regards to ASEAN and the process negotiation that has come so far, and in regards to perhaps like trade terms. Perhaps like maybe you can share with us like the kind of regional public good can ASEAN provide as a bloc to overcome any kind of trade barriers that Timor-Leste has actually faced or may face in the future. And that's all. Thank you.
This is about trade. Okay. His Excellency have assigned one of his expert to explain. Come, young lady.
Come here.
You can use a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Is this on? Yeah. Okay. So she will answer.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you, Ambassador Ong Keong. Thank you for the question. I would like to inform that in our process of negotiation or all the trade agreements, particularly those the key ones, we're talking about trade in goods, trade in services, and investment, and also movement of natural person. With our recent accession to WTO, we have definitely laid a very strong foundation, and that allows us to be able to negotiate with our region. And we are fully aware that our region are the countries in the region are those that we will be trading most. So the commitments given to the ASEAN member states obviously higher than to the WTO as a, to the global trading partners. So in this case, we've almost finalized our negotiation process with the member states, giving our market access offer, the commitments under those 3 different agreements. And as I said, the commitments given to the member states is in ASEAN, it's higher compared to the others. So I think this is all I can give you, but anything else you'd like to ask, happy to respond. Thank you. Oh, my name is Milena Rangel. I'm the Vice Minister in charge of ASEAN accession process. Thank you.
Thank you. Since you're up there, Madam, maybe we see whether any more economic
ASEAN questions.
Yeah, economic question. Anybody want to ask or Timor-Leste's economic policy, ASEAN economic relationship? Anyone? Yes? Another lady there, right in front.
Thank you, Ambassador. Good afternoon, Mr. Prime Minister Xanana. Boa tarde. Normally we call Mr. Xanana Abu Xanana in Timor. My name is Eka. I'm Indonesian, but I've been living in Timor for 10 years and 20 years in Singapore. So both countries is part of my life. Mr. Xanana, these questions as well for you, and also still related to Asian that Mana can help. You mentioned earlier about providing natural to Asia, ASEAN in the future or in the near future? What the 3 top priority?
Don't need 3 lah, 1 enough lah. Let other people have a chance. Okay.
Okay, one maybe, instead of the internal challenges of Timor-Leste that currently facing, sure. Let's face it, 1, what is the biggest contribution that Timor-Leste can provide? Either they contribution para ASEAN. Obrigada. Thank you.
Vice Minister, Prime Minister arrow you to answer. She's the expert.
She is the expert.
Let me just again looking into from the technical point of view, but also would like to touch a little bit on the principle of the ASEAN itself. To start with, Timor-Leste obviously would like to contribute to peace in the country, in the region. From economic point of view, as I mentioned previously, whatever trade, and also at the same time, I would also like to respond to my friends previously mentioned about the investment in the education sectors. In the services sectors, we follow the threshold of the region. So whatever the region is going to give preferential treatment to its neighbors, to the region, the same apply for Timor-Leste. In our services sectors or even investment. It's very open. It's already open economic, but since now joining ASEAN, it's even more open. So we would like to invite every sectors. They would like to invest in Timor-Leste. We are obviously in the process of making the trade regime is even more friendly. But to, again, as I say, we would like to have more investment from the region and also enjoy the preferential treatment that Timor-Leste would like to offer. Again, for the first contribution, the Timor-Leste probably will give in the when we join, contributing to the already very peaceful region, which uphold highly the ASEAN centrality and also obey by ASEAN Charter. There's obviously Timor-Leste will be part of the community, will also consume the same value as well. But I leave the rest of the answer to my Prime Minister, probably would like to add. Thank you.
Okay, Excellency, she sent the question back to you. You have anything to add? Otherwise, we can go to the next lady there. She has raised her hand. Okay, we ask the next. Okay, ask your question. Who is that at the back? Okay, gentlemen, all right.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Yeo from RSIS. I understand that Timor-Leste's main source of export is petroleum, and with the world shifting towards clean energy, how is Timor-Leste going to adjust to this development? Thank you.
So he is wondering, how are you adjusting to this idea of people moving away from oil and gas? Because your main export is oil and gas. So with the world moving away from oil and gas, how would Timor-Leste how does Timor-Leste plan to cope with the new demand of the market?
Well, when? Moving away when? Because of the war in Ukraine, the oil in Middle East,
the price has gone up.
Grown up, and if you can you tell me when it will no more oil and gas? I will see the the problem of climate change. Yes, who destroyed climate is developed countries. Now they teach us not with Singapore. Singapore is very developed. With the underdeveloped countries, climate change, don't do this, don't do that. And we ask them, and yesterday, who did this? We. Yesterday you did, and nobody talk about this. Now we cannot do because you are telling us not to do. Yeah. Sometimes to the underdeveloped countries in the world, renewable energy with everything. And they ask, because we don't have money to buy, can you provide us? No, you have to buy. Solar panel, you have to buy. If not, that is why we are talking about the world, the problem of the world. Yeah, we know, we feel, we are very concerned about this, but when in the world no more oil and gas, yes, we will also stop exporting oil and gas. But while other people, other nations can buy or want to buy, we will sell. This is a difficult question to be answered. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, over here, gentlemen.
Yeah, good afternoon, Prime Minister. Jerry Paisley. I'm a geologist based here in Singapore, working for a Dutch listed company. Actually, my question was quite the opposite. Look, every country has a problem of energy security, whether developed like Singapore or your own great country. But within your waters, you have great untapped resources of natural gas. And you have a field called the Sunrise Field, which has been there for many, many years. Are you making any progress with your neighbours to the south on being able to finance and develop that gas field to feed the nation?
I don't say fortunately or unfortunately, but actually we hope that Australia can demonstrate good faith, demonstrate open mind. We are expecting and we are waiting for this because Bayunda was in our territory and they brought there. Now the Great Sunrise is more near to us, but negotiations are negotiations. When there are interests behind all of them, it takes time. But we, from Timor-Leste, we will not give up. We will continue to say that it is in our territory. It will benefit us because we are a very underdeveloped country. Australia is rich, very rich. They don't need like an opportunity to grow. I was in Darwin before 60 something. I went there again in 74 to work there, and 99. But after Bayunda, Darwin, because of the Bayunda. Now, we don't want Timor-Leste to be like a new Darwin, but to help our people. Indirect contributions to their economy. This is what we are. We continue to say and to tell the companies in Australia that we will not give up of our desire and compromise.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Over here. Yeah. Young man there. Microphone, please. Give us your name.
Hello. Yeah. So I'm Utkarsh. I'm currently a grade 9 student in Singapore. So my question is
grade 9 student.
Yeah, grade 9.
Okay.
So my question is mostly on, because recent events is how the junta in Myanmar has sent a formal opposition to Timor-Leste's ascension to membership in ASEAN. And with ASEAN being supposedly a very interconnected family, what is Timor-Leste's stance on how this would affect your international relations inside ASEAN itself?
Well, I have to say, if I can say here, that in some way I provoked the case because coming to the government in 2023, because the previous government already signed the agreement to the membership. The other government started already to work on this, and because I know Myanmar, I went to Myanmar twice before Aung San Suu Kyi. I met a former general, the president at the time. We talked about rule of law, democracy, and a few months later, Aung San Suu Kyi became the president, the prime minister, but the coup d'etat, the junta, and that was why, coming to the government, my reaction was, if Myanmar don't change the system, Timor-Leste will not go. It was just personally, and they expelled our diplomats from there. I started to be very, and in September 2023, I went to the Forum of ASEAN in Jakarta. There, no representation from Myanmar. I went to other forums in Japan, 50 years of cooperation, in Belgium, 50 years of cooperation, no representation from Myanmar, and I went to Laos. In Laos, it was administrative staff there, and we discussed it a little bit, and he said, remember, non-interference. I said, sorry, non-interference. What provoked me or motivated me to talk about the system there, it was because I was there. And in September 2023, in the end of the meeting, I saw the news and I appealed to the junta to allow the doctors to go and treat Aung San Suu Kyi that was sick in the prison. All of this, no? And suddenly, after Kuala Lumpur, they recommend to me that I said, no, I will not talk again. Oh, yes, sorry. It is saying that avoid this kind of explanation. Yeah. It is just to explain, not to make, cut the news. It is only here in the forum. If not, I will. and everybody accepted. They also, but suddenly it came, and we said, no. Even silent, even not talking, I have to say that we defend human rights, democratic state, rule of law, because I was there trying to persuade a former general that became president to say sorry, it is not. And he changes this, and Aung San Suu Kyi could come prime minister. We asked before, we asked the Secretary General to appoint Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono as a special representative from United Nations to go and to talk, not to force, to talk, to say, yeah, enough is enough. But so far, not yet. Not yet. That is why, while we promise already not to talk in official, in public, against the junta, inside, we are appealing to them to stop the rule there, to be a democratic state. Yeah.
Thank you, Excellency. I think we have time for one last question. Quick one. Okay, Faisal, is it? Yeah.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. My name is Faisal. I'm from RSIS. I have one question. When Timor-Leste becomes a full member of ASEAN, how will Timor-Leste help ASEAN manage the security and economic challenges coming from the major powers such as China and the United States? Thank you.
Well, so far, not being yet a member of ASEAN, of course, from one ear we listen, from another, and we always say to all, in foreign relations, Timor-Leste has only a choice. No ally, no enemy. Inside, we will continue with ASEAN to say no allies, because the very important is peace, cooperation, and development.
Thank you, Excellency. Well, I think we have a good taste of Prime Minister Gusmão's characteristic way of handling your questions and responding to your interests. Thank you, Excellency. Yeah, and we'd like to thank you for making time for us today. There are quite a lot of our friends and interested parties here. I think they want to ask more questions. Maybe they will ask you as you are going out, but we will have to escort you out so that you don't be waylaid by them anymore.
Next time when I come.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So let's ask, show our appreciation to the Prime Minister. Yeah.